seriously been a year since I've sat down and done a video like this. So I'm happy to be back, and I have a little small pattern haul for you. Or in my case, I think it's small because usually I have a million patterns that I pick up, but it's hard to get those really good sales over here in Germany. So I finally gave in and I ordered some online, and I'm going to share them with you today. So let's just jump in and check out what I've got. The first one I'm going to start off with today is the McCalls 7853, and I was going to pass up this pattern, but then I looked closely at the different options that they had, and I saw this one, View A, and it's got that sort of Jack Skellington look to it, and that one really started to inspire me. And then once I saw B, that one really got me into it. But C, I was like, oh, okay, it's, nothing I don't already have. But I definitely like the way these two look, so I was very inspired by them, and I will be actually using this for a near future video, hopefully. I just have to go through and find some fabrics that I want. I'm still in a no-buy technically because I still have a ton of fabric I need to go through, but there are specific ones that I want to use for the idea that I have to make for this costume. So hopefully you guys will see this one in a video soon. Then I picked up the Butterick 6305. It's one of the Making History costumes, and it's got a lot of great elements to it. I figure it doesn't hurt to have too many of those Victorian style costume patterns, because each one's always got something different with it or a different way to make it, like the jackets and everything. So I just like to hoard, so I just figured I just needed a million of these. Speaking of Victorian style dresses, I have another one, which is the Butterick 6692. And this one is definitely a lot more detailed than the last one was. And it's the same thing, it's the Making History brand, but this one's got the really long train, and it's got all the gathers, which I like to see during like steampunk outfits and costumes. So I think I lean more toward this one than the other one, but like I said, I'm a hoarder. I have a million patterns, so I decided, why not? So I will do something with this in the future, maybe another type of steampunk dress. Like I said, I really love the way this skirt is, so I'm very intrigued to try this pattern out, specifically. And once again, I have a Butterick 6400, and this is just the jackets. And I love the different styles that they have, because they have this one here that looks very military, and then they have a basic one, and then they have a more like feminine one. And each one's got a different kind of tailcoat in the back. So once again, I really like this for like a military style or steampunk kind of style costume outfit, especially this one right here. See, that's really getting me going. So we'll see if I can try to do something with this one. Maybe I'll match it with the skirt from the other pattern. We'll see. I'm always just throwing stuff around, and I'll see something and it'll inspire me, and then I'll go through what I have in my patterns. So I always like to have different variety and options so that I can kind of get close to what I have in my head. Then I picked up the Butterick 6530, and this is a petticoat. And I know I already have a petticoat tutorial that I love. Like I said, I could never have too many different options or varieties of ways to make something. And this is definitely a little bit different because it's not the tiered one that I've made. It's sewed together in one long length. So I figured it'd be great to have this one, and I'm always trying to learn how to sew myself. So I like to break down the different ways that people make different things, so I can kind of piece together different methods and make it the way that works best for me, pretty much. So this might be fun just to do later on in the future, to give you guys a different option of a petticoat, since this is more A-line and the one that I have is more of a cupcake. Next, I picked up the McCalls 7956, and they have a lot of their summer patterns that they just released, or early fall, I think they just released too. But I just couldn't get away from this. I really like this like side button thing that they're doing right now. I've seen it a lot on the different styles lately. So it just was very intriguing, and so I figure it would be great to have a pattern that has that detail in it. I've been collecting a few patterns lately that, or saving certain patterns for later that have that detail, because I feel like this does once again go with that like steampunky side with like the crossover like military style a little bit. So I mean, you can always alter everything. I just like to see how it's made with the side buttons. But it also does have some great sleeves in here too, which could also be used for a very Victorian kind of look, or Rococo sort of Marie Antoinette sort of style. So I figure it's a little versatile. So that is why I picked this one up. But this also looks like it would make a really great everyday blouse too. So I might actually even do that too. Then I have the McCall's 7951, and this is such a pretty dress. I think it looks very simple, but the top also reminds me of Marjorie from Game of Thrones with the dresses that she had. They were kind of that low cut sort of halter, but then it had the open stuff everywhere, and because she had a lot of skin showing. So this is what that reminded me of a little bit, which is why I mostly picked up this one. I mean, once again, they are very pretty dresses, but like I said, I'm always looking for little details like that in my patterns that I pick up, so I can use them later on or use them as a guide. So I'm happy to add this to my collection. Then I have the McCall's 7944, and this is kind of just a basic like tunicky dress, or what's the word I'm looking for? Shift dress? Is that what I'm thinking about? But it's just the one length, and it's such a basic dress that I figure it wouldn't hurt to have this in my collection, because I do have a few patterns where I just really like the dress or the top or whatever, and I just want to have it in hand just in case one day I want to make something for myself. That's what I use it for. But I mean, I'm sure since it's so simple, this can definitely be dressed up into something. And I also like that it's the learn to sew, so if you're a beginner, these are really great patterns because they break everything down for you, and it teaches you how to do certain things. Like this one will say learn to top stitch, which you do a lot of, and then learn how to make buttonholes, which I have a video, I'll link that down below, on how I do buttonholes with a buttonhole foot and without a buttonhole foot. So check that out. So this looks kind of like an all-around good pattern to have. So I will tuck this away for another day. Then I picked up the Vogue 1548, and as soon as I saw this, the only detail I was really drawn into was the collar neck center portion, because I see a lot of, like I said, that military steampunk styles, and even some Lolita dresses actually have that sort of V open kind of look. So I knew I had to pick this up to have an idea on how to put that together. So hopefully I get to use this one soon too. I just think it's a really fun detail, especially since it looks like it's a usable, workable one and not one that's just sewn up just for the look. So this was like a have-to-have pattern. Then I picked up the Vogue 1604 as well. And once again, this one, it was just so pretty. I couldn't stop looking at it when I was browsing the patterns that they had on sale. So once again, this is just a fun pattern for me to have on hand. My husband is in the military, so we do go to military balls. So I think I might make this one next time for next year, because it's definitely my style with that edgy kind of look with the little ringlets and stuff in the background. Like I just love that detail. And hopefully by then I will have everything back in shape from post-baby. But if not, these dresses are actually really flattering with my body shape, with the nice big ruffle on the front, but tight and form-fitting on the bottom. And I wore a dress very similar to the bottom this year, and I loved how it looked. So I had to have this one for a future ball gown. So who knows, maybe I can kind of dress it up and turn it into something a little more unique styled, so I can throw it onto my channel for you guys. But definitely looking forward to putting this one together in the future. So the last three patterns I am so excited about because once again they are the Cosplay by McCall's patterns, and I'm really liking the patterns they have, although I have yet to make one. I actually plan to use one of them soon. I'm just putting everything together for that one as well. But these are the three new ones that I picked up from my last haul. So the first one that I got was the Hitched pattern, and it's basically just the skirt. As you can see in the back, it's just the skirt. So it's got the different layers and tiers of ruffles, and then it also has the little pieces of ribbon fabric and loops so that you can tie it up. And it also has the 3 different lengths, which I'm assuming is each of the ruffle layers. But it doesn't look too hard to make. The skill level is easy, so this should be a good one for beginners as well. If you're trying to make yourself some steampunk clothing, this is a good one to pick up for sure. Then I picked up Resistance, and it's that post-apocalyptic one-piece jumper, and they've got it looking really grunge, but I thought this would be really fun to make, especially for me and my husband to do for like Halloween or something like that, because this is a unisex pattern, so it's good for men and women, which is great. It is an intermediate pattern, but I think it's just because of all the zippers and the pockets that they have on it. That looks like it might be a little time consuming, but otherwise, I mean, it's just one piece, so I can't imagine it'd be too hard to put together. But I definitely want to do this one pretty soon as well. I'll just have to see where I can find this type of fabric. I'll probably have to order it online, but this is definitely on my to make list. And the last pattern that I picked up is the Papillon pattern, and this one is basically just the top, and it's like a waistcoat, and then it's got the tails on one of them. And that was the one I was most interested, was view A, which is pretty much this one in the picture. And that one was because I have an idea for another project. I really wanted a jacket with these long waist tails on it. So this was perfect when I found it. I knew I had to get this one. This was the main reason I went on to look for patterns in the first place, because I was looking for something like this. So I'm happy that I was able to find something so close to what I was looking for. And this one is an intermediate as well. So we'll see how this one comes out when we finally get to it. But I think that's because of all the buttons and maybe the lining, I'm assuming, is what makes it a little difficult, especially with that collar on it. I haven't done a collar like this yet, so that'll take me a little while to go through and figure out how to put that together. But thanks to this guy, I have spent some money, but I also have a good list of future projects to start making, so it worked out in the end. So that was my pattern haul. I hope you guys liked the few things that I picked up and are a little excited for some future videos that I should be putting out soon. It's been a little difficult with my new little monster because she's a little needy, and of course, as soon as I get a little bit of time to do something, that's when she wants my attention. So I'm trying very hard to keep up, make sure I'm getting videos out for you guys. Anyways, if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you have not already. I'm thinking in my head that when I get up to 500 subscribers, I want to do a giveaway. So I'm trying to figure out something good and fun to give out. I still got a little ways to go, but I know I'm going to make it. So share these videos with your friends, with your family, and that would really help me out a lot. But hopefully I see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!